Hi, I'm Rachel, and today I'll show you how to create a gorgeous realistic flower painting with the airbrush tool using the Color Therapy app. For this bunch of flowers, I wanted to give the look like it was created with charcoal. The airbrush tool is perfect for that as it creates soft strokes. This is an intermediate to advanced tutorial, but the steps are fairly easy and it's just a matter of practice. Pairing the Apple Pencil with this app is best so that you can get precise lines, though it is possible to achieve similar results by painting with your finger. To find this image, go under Classic, click the Free tab, and then scroll down to the 8th image. So the first thing we want to do is open up the color palette. Under the Basic palette, we want to choose Basic, and then let's grab a black and a white. And it's set to solid. Now, with your pencil set to the advanced mode, go ahead and open up the toolbox. First, make sure it's set to airbrush. Then we're going to take the opacity and move it all the way down to 20%. We also want the brush size to be down to 0 because we want it to be really small and precise. Now, an awesome thing about this app is that you can color inside the lines and it keeps you from going outside the lines. So let's go ahead and make sure that it's set to just coloring inside the shape. So let's click the black and go ahead and zoom in. We'll zoom into that first flower on the left. For this coloring, I'm going to do a two-step process. So the first process will be just laying down the dark shadows, and the second process will be using the white and erasing and taking back the areas that I don't want to be black. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'll do is just start lightly sketching around the edges of the petals. And I'm not too worried about areas that get a little bit too dark because we're gonna go back over it later and take them away if needed. I also really like the texture that the airbrush gives with it. It looks more realistic. So I kind of want to give these flower petals sort of an edge just to add some details. So I'm gonna just make it darker here and there. It doesn't have to be perfect. So let's move on to the next petal. I'm just going around the edge and just sort of making a shadow along the edge, not being too particular about how hard I press. So I like to add a few little details in here and there, just let a little smudge come in there, and that just gives the petals a realistic look, adds some texture to it. Moving on to our next petal. Again, I'm gonna make a few areas a little bit darker. I'm being pretty messy with it. One rule of thumb that you can follow is wherever a petal is overlapping another one, you can add a shadow there, and that helps it to make realistic. So right here we see there's the petal in the front is overlapping the petal in the back, so we need to add a shadow right there behind it. Use more pressure for a heavier shadow. Now, your shadows will always be darker closer to the edge and lighter the further away from the edge. And you'll just pretty much apply that same idea to the whole drawing. Now the centers of the flowers, I'll just color in circular, and I want the centers to be bright. So you basically want to continue that whole idea throughout all the flowers. So to do the bow, go ahead and zoom in, and it's really fun actually. Since it's really shiny, you're gonna press down really hard and then let go. And you're gonna have that part be your highlight. So your shadow is gonna fade quickly into a highlight, and it's just gonna be a strip, and then you lay down the exact same shadow you just did. And see how it's getting darker and darker. So your highlight will kind of be in the center of the bow, so you'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Now, to clean it up, click on the white color, open up the toolbox, and this time we'll set the opacity to 100%. Now, all of the inside lines of each petal we're going to outline, so just kind of like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So this really helps the petal to look a bit more like it's 3D. Now let's go under the Effects tab. If you add on the canvas painting effect, it looks really good because it looks like it was drawn on textured paper. You can also choose the watercolor one, which brightens it up a bit and it looks like it's on watercolor paper. The awesome thing about using the Apple Pencil with this may be obvious. No smudgy hands, no erasers, no cleanup. Remember, learning how to shade requires practice, so don't be frustrated if you don't get it right away. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.